tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour or so. Let's see, this is episode 1445. So somewhere around episode 1000 or so, I imagine we decided to start taking the show a bit more seriously. Maybe not. And definitely wanted to achieve more with the show, so we started to focus in on different topics each day of the week since we go live weekly. Monday, we look at why you might want to be an activist, how to be an activist, and some motivation for being an activist. At least that's our goal. On Tuesdays, we dig into the Second Amendment and 2As on Tuesdays. Then on Wednesdays, we have more fun. We take a look at pop culture, guns in our media and in society. We also play our tactical quiz on Wednesdays. Then on Thursdays, we take a look at travel, training. We take a look at our gun industry from those angles. And then on Friday, tonight, we take a look back at the week, at what's been going on, and we attempt to focus on the industry and the community through the eyes of other content creators who've been doing things online. We do that, one, so that we can summarize the week. Two, so that we can archive kind of a weekly summary, I guess, a weekly synopsis of what's been going on. And that creates something that people can go back and index or reference. And also it creates the archive on the internet. Now, we do this as a live stream for lots of reasons. One, because we value the interactive nature of the internet, but also because it gives us more tools than if we did it other ways. It allows us to do it live, and we have all the positives and negatives of creating things live. We workshop things like this to give people some transparency on how the software works and how the methods work and the reasonings and the methods. And then we, sorry, I got distracted by the dog here. We'll do this stuff live, and tonight I'm going to play around with it a little bit and do it live in a different way because trying to play around with the way we're doing these, and the way that we're going to, I guess, create the final result. I've tried this in the past and it didn't work out too good, so I'm going to try it a little bit, basically the same way, but in a little bit faster way. So what we're going to do is head over to the history on YouTube. So if you're looking at someone's, if you're on YouTube and you're looking at whatever you're looking at, you're going to have this little menu thing over on the left. If you're on Windows, Macintosh, it's probably somewhere else, but it's going to have something that allows you to see the menu. So if you bring the menu over, you're going to get all these different things. Pretty much we all have the same sections, and then we're all going to have different subscribers. Obviously, we're going to have the filtered list of people that would be the ones that we've selected. But things like home and shorts and subscriptions, these things are here all the time. So one of these first ones is called history. And oops, I guess I shouldn't click on that. Let's go back and click on that in a new window. So one of these first ones is called history. Okay, so we're going to find history, and we're going to right click and open that in a new tab. So we can leave this tab open, the video that we're on right now, and I can check out the poll. So we do have a poll going for people that join us live. And tonight the question is, like we start out every week, how was this week for 2A? And your answers, your responses can be great week, good week, okay week, or bad week. So far we've got 2 votes in, and 100% of those votes are for good week for 2A, not a great week and not an okay week. So that's an interesting take on it. I'm curious to hear what people think as we dig into this week. All right, so now I've opened up my history in a new window, and that's going to allow us to see the videos that I've been watching. And that's usually how it's one of the first things I'll do to create the list of videos this week. Okay, so Smeggy, this is Every Second Matters. This is the second day of the month. So Smeggy did an Every Second Matters legislative update earlier today. Every Second Matters is a campaign, an awareness campaign that was created back in 2013. A bunch of people continue to focus on what the Second Amendment protects on the second day of each month. People are free to do that any way they want, and people participate it in different levels or in different amounts each year or each month. I figure one of the things we might do today, depending on how the show goes, is take a look back at this year's Every Second Matters project, efforts by different people. Let's see, so then going back, Gizzard, I think, is still live right now. A couple of chats that happened live today. The American Suppressor Association does a monthly update, a very brief monthly update. This month it was 3 minutes long, 3 minutes and some change, worth listening to. And they are talking about, or still talking about, the response on, or the Form 1 denials that they had asked the ATF about, and the lack of response from the ATF. A couple of different people focusing on Every Second Matters today. Like I say, we'll probably do something to look at Every Second Matters stuff throughout the year. Now, as I go through my history, I'm usually going to delete the videos that I don't want in here that are going to be affecting what videos YouTube is going to suggest to me. So as a kind of a tip on how to use the software, let's say you watch a video intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes you walk out of a room and 3 or 4 videos will just play because you got auto, whatever it's called, on, where it'll just start playing videos. And that'll happen to me. I'll walk back in here, I'll be playing with the dog, and it'll have 3 or 4 videos played. And that might be a video on VCR repair, and then another video on how to write in calligraphy. And if those aren't hobbies of yours, then all of a sudden you're going to start getting videos on VHS tapes and calligraphy markers, and it can just be annoying. So by kind of deleting the videos in your history, it might affect that. At least I believe it affects that, and it kind of filters what YouTube is going to suggest to you. All right, so I'm going to not click on everything necessarily to include it in the Second Amendment focused summary of the week, but you can see I was watching some stuff from friends that are hunters. Rogue Call's been posting a bunch of videos. Washington Gun Law is a channel, a lawyer channel up in Washington State, and it looks like they've got some optimistic news about the Washington magazine ban. They also did a video about the ATF coming to your door, and I would include that, but it's old data, it's old info, and it's curious. We've got a lot of people in the mix. It'll be curious to see how others react to old news coming back up. It has to happen, and it has to happen every so often. How often it happens is going to be determined by the community. So this is one example of something that's been around for a while. The idea that the ATF can walk up if you have an NFA item. The idea that the I don't want to say suggestion, but like the concept that the ATF can just come in and do a home inspection, that goes around. People think that. It's probably conflated with FFLs or maybe CNRs. So there are certain agreements you can have with the ATF as an individual that would give the ATF an ability to come in and audit your stuff, but that's not the NFA items. So it gets, I think, conflated or confused, and that, those discussions happen occasionally, every so often, and they need to happen every so often because it's just one of those things that goes around. It's persistent. So the idea that Washington Gun Law is posting a video about it, it got 97,000 views. So that's a lot of people out there, a slice of the lot of people out there that haven't thought of that, are going to hear it and then ask the question, is that for real? And again, that's something. The Washington Gun Law did the video on it this week with 97,000 views. 3 months from now, it'll be a bunch of different people online, and that question will go around again. So there's cycles, and there's things that'll kind of come back around, and we'll see some of these things, and people will start to see them and comment on them. All right, so there's one from Tactical Rifleman blowing up whipped cream. There's no need to leave that in my feed. I might get a bunch of people blowing up food and garbage like that in my feed. I don't want that. So I don't mind watching his video just to see what it was, but I don't want that kind of stuff in my feed. We did a video yesterday, or a chat yesterday, about the 2016 Gun Show Loophole Tour. I'm going to put that in the link, just why not. It was a hour or so conversation about the different tours that we did in 2016. That's when this show started. In 2016, when Bob from Canada came down and we started to drive around. Let's see, a couple of videos from people. I didn't get to see Sandhill's video. Looks like he's back, though, with a new studio after a move. So he's calling it season 4. Normally I'd link to it, but he started off with just a gun video. Now, Yankee did a campaign again this year called Toy Guns for Tots, where he noticed that, I guess, Toy for Tots campaigns weren't always inclusive of firearms. So he created this Toy Guns for Tots campaign, and he does it each year. And this year, I guess, this year it was more successful than ever, even with the increased cost of the toys. You can see from that thumbnail, he's got a U-Haul full, more than waist deep in toys. So tons of toys. Barbecue did his book review this week. I think I'll link to that. Clover's, of course, got his other channel going. A couple of links over there. We've been posting some shorts. I can't remember what show I was on. I was watching somebody's show and I went live. I was probably watching Cape Gunworks live, and I think I went live during their live show to look at the puppy and to kind of look over the shoulder as I was posting a bunch of shorts. So shorts, YouTube shorts can be pulled from videos. So you have videos already, probably. You can use your phone to pull shorts from those videos. And that's effectively what I did for, I don't know, half an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the other day. And that amount of effort brought in, a couple of different results, I guess. So let's take a quick look at those. If we go over to our channel, what are you doing? And I go to the shorts section, 1,000 views, 1,000 views. I don't know if they tell you how old they are. Even with a bad thumbnail like that, 1,000 views, 69 views, weird, 124 views, 132 views, and then I think this one is owned. So, two of them were kind of failures. They didn't do nothing. 100 views, 69 views, but then two of them went to 1,000 views. I don't think there's much rhyme or reason there. There's probably somebody who could evaluate those and decide why they did. But my suggestion is it takes 20 minutes to create a bunch of them. Consider making a bunch of them and see if it helped your channel. See if you enjoy the whatever results or consequences of those views. I don't know if this little dude is jealous of me talking. I'm going to assume that's what it is. Or if he needs to go to the outside. But he's had like 100 opportunities today to go outside. So I'm going to put a towel down here again. I'm going to just sit over here and see if he calms his jets. He's got little tiny jets, but they're not very calm. All right, you going to sit down? All right. And then this was every week there's a mouse party. So our friend Foss up in Washington State hosts a long format overnight show on Wednesdays. And that got back to its regular schedule this week. You can also check out every other week. Foss and Barron will do the overnight, which is a show Saturday nights, late night, or overnight, depending on what you call overnight. I don't know if my audio is bad because my internet says it's being real cruddy right now. Let's just blame Nancy Pelosi for that. She invested in bad internet, so now she's profiting on my bad connection tonight. All right, so next up, I guess I could make this a little bit bigger since we're not. I think the last time what I tried to do is put this info into. Come on, just let me see. I tried to put all this stuff into the show, and that just took way too long. So tonight I'm just, whoa, I don't know what that happened. So tonight I am just using this to open up new tabs, and I'll do all the work on my own time, I guess, later. All right, so did a couple of 2A book reviews, did a couple of shorts, the Wednesday night overnight. I guess this is a couple of our videos. Gun Owners Radio had a couple of shorts out there. They only got 24 views on that short, but it's like a joke, so I don't know if a joke goes over real well. Rants and Raves is still on the way. Looks like they're going to go to episode 219 instead of 200. Makes a lot of sense. Chris from 740 does a show every Wednesday. We'll be linking to that. Episode 43, talking about what people bought on Black Friday. A bunch of people doing shorts on different things. Here's one from Chris, got 1.8 thousand views. Cape Gunworks, let's see, this was kind of a snippet. Let's get rid of John Lott posted an interview with the AZCDL talking to Nikki Gozer. That happened. And then this was pretty interesting. This was what's his face and somebody else, Pierre Poilievre, up in Canada, debating, the horrible Canadian situation. So interesting. I'm not going to link to it. Sorry for the Canadians out there, but I did mention it, but I'm not going to link to it. We're going to have a lot to link to. Let's see. Armed attorneys out of Texas. I find them interesting to listen to. They have kind of a couple of different attorneys to have on the radar. Sorry, the dog just stuck his face on the mouse or whatever you call this thing, the trackpad on the laptop, so it moved all around. Okay, here we go. Now we have the radio show. So we have a couple of different radio shows that we listen to each week. We like to promote. One of them is the Cape Gunworks Cape Gunworks shop, which is a gun shop and shooting range in Massachusetts. They do a radio show on Wednesdays that they record on Wednesdays, and they stream the recording, and then the show gets syndicated to a bunch of different radio stations over the weekend. So over the weekend, people will hear the show that's recorded on Wednesdays, and that's done live. A lot of fun, and probably the most interactive of all the radio shows out there. Plus, it's a gun shop, so it's a gun shop hosting the show. G23 is out there, said 5th thumbs up. Thanks for that. Appreciate the participation there tonight. Let's see, then Clover Tack doing something about a knife. It's fake. Then we've got Barbecue doing a bracket. On Tuesday this week, we looked at Instagram, so there's a link to that. And there is the link to Barbecue's book review. So once each month, Barbecue hosts a 2A book club where they'll choose a book and then read that book throughout the month and then do a book review about it, kind of discuss the book. Pretty interesting. And if you don't read the book, it gives you a synopsis or summary of it. And if you did read it, it gives you a chance to talk to others who did read it and, talk about it or whatever. Hit or miss. Ghost. People doing some podcasts. This dog is right where he is right now, except now he has a big blanket under him, so I don't get his butt all over my table and stuff. But yeah, he's often rudely right in front of me. I did a video to document that for 38 minutes. Let's see, Clover and I go live every Tuesday for a while now to talk about SHOT Show. This week we're going to talk about the costs of SHOT Show, and then the week after we need to put a poll out there. The week after will probably be we don't have to do a poll. I think we're going to talk to veterans first and then talk to new people. I don't know. Or should we talk to new people and then veterans? I forgot what we came up with. Let's see. Earlier this week, we took some time and updated the December calendar of gun and firearms events. So we have some websites. That's what are called gun websites, actually quite a few of them. One of them is called guncalendars.com, and that is amazingly a calendar of gun events. So the software that runs on it is being weird, and I'm trying to be cheap about it. So every once in a while, when you're cheap and you know how to do stuff on the web, you figure out ways to stay being cheap about it. And that's what I was over there doing, updating the site on the cheap, inexpensively updating the calendar over there. Once that is accomplished, I was able to go through and update the December events, and that's what we did live. I like to do these things in workshops so that people see, again, transparency, how these websites work, how projects work, why you would do these projects. It's the realistic expectations of what works and what doesn't. Because not everything is some kind of a goal to sell something. A lot of times goals have other reasons and other ambitions. And how do you measure that? How do you determine if your time is well spent or not? So we like to do these things live, give people opportunity to see how it's done, why it's done, and then ask questions, be participatory in it. So we do value the people that are live. You could be sitting there watching the internet, or you could realize that it is not a television, a movie, or the radio. You can click on your fingers or your wiggle, whatever it is you want to wiggle against whatever piece of glass or button that you got there, and that'll create words. Al Gore set this thing up so that words happen almost in real time, thanks to physics and chemistry. And then all of a sudden, we're having communication, even though we aren't sitting in the same room. It's like magic, except it's really science. So we like to do these projects like updating the websites live. I got to do that kind of work anyway, so I might as well do it live so people can, again, see how and why it's done. Speaking of being able to do that stuff live, it's not necessarily lucrative, so appreciate the Patreons. There's a little scroll going at the bottom of the screen there. We focus on the Patreons at the beginning of every live show that we do. And we thank the Patreons at the end of everything we do, because we're only able to do this. Me and the other people that do this, it's not like we have a paid staff, but occasionally I can ask my friends to do stuff. They've been doing stuff for a while. Other people participate, and we're all able to do this for free, basically, or they're able to do it for free. I'm able to do it because of the Patreons making it possible for us to spend time on stuff like this. They buy us a cup of coffee. Some of them buy us lunch once a month. That adds up, and that makes it possible for us to do this. So that isn't paying all the bills, and that certainly isn't living life of luxury. So selling off everything I've got, including my collection. So I've got the AK Bayonet collection. At one time, I'm saying my collection probably in the top 10 in the world, not just the United States, but in the world. And I've never had the cleanest or nicest of bayonets, but I've always had the most variety and the largest, or at least efforting towards the largest. There's a couple, I'd say 9 or so that I'm aware of, bigger collections than mine that were either had more access or more money. And anyway, so I really enjoyed collecting bayonets there for a bit. Bayonet collectors are interesting people, and Kalashnikov bayonet collectors are a whole nother layer. So anyway, we've been selling off that collection up at Pot of Gold, and in a way to get some awareness for that, created some videos. Also, just to say goodbye to this stuff. I really do like bayonets. They're super interesting, in my opinion. They have all the characteristics, all the materials, all the I don't know what to call it, like the look of the different AKs. And in fact, the bayonets are the teeth. You know, the bayonets are the smile of the AK-47. They're the part that you see when they're having a parade. So the bayonets are pretty neat. I really like them. So as I'm saying goodbye to them, as I'm getting rid of them, I'm making these videos, you know, to just have some time with them and to update what I'm aware of, because I'm also building a manual, not a manual, but a buyer's guide for collecting. And so that you know what your collection is and what you might want, you know where your holes in the collection are and what you've got a lock on. So creating some illustrations along the way. And again, not something that's going to be profitable. Just, again, I really enjoyed collecting the bayonets, and I'm glad to see them going. And hopefully they'll allow us to continue to spend time on projects like this. Do we illustrate these things live? Yes. Do we put them together into the buyer's guides live? Yeah, pretty much. So again, if you're interested in participating in any of that, sharing your skills or your awareness of the software or the processes, that's why we do it live. You know, I'm not doing it because I've done it a million times and I know what I'm doing. I do it live so that people realize that anybody can be part of what's going on the internet. It's just like anything, you know. Want to be part of it, be part of it. It's the United States. We have that freedom. Anyway, so that's a bunch of videos from the bayonets getting sold. Also have a sheet of the Old West Guns playing card stacks up there at auction, and that'll come along with a whole bunch of different playing cards. We've got some sets of patches up there, and that's a bunch of these videos that are all getting posted. These are probably as I was posting them and getting them situated to be scheduled out there. Let's see, then going back to other people's videos, we've got Cape Gun Works does a 2A Tuesday segment on the Grace Curley show. So they do, Cape Gun Works does their own radio show, but then they also do a segment of an even bigger radio show out of Boston, I think they said, called the Grace Curley show. So I think of her as like kind of like a Rush Limbaugh. She talks politics and, you know, news of the day. But on Tuesdays, she has a 45 I just found out about the Cape Gun Works does their podcast. I listened to that show and I was utterly impressed at the ability for Toby to focus on Second Amendment while still answering the people's questions in a way that's concise. So some of us will go on and on about how the significance or the implications of the Second Amendment, you know, whenever people ask a simple question, which I think is necessary and valid. But Toby does it in such a way that it's a little more consumable or whatever, like a little bit easier to digest. All right, so then I think we mentioned that Clover and I go live every Tuesday to talk about SHOT Show. That's what that was. Then we've got the Four Boxes Diner talking about defeating the NFA. So I've just become aware of the Four Boxes Diner in the last months or so. And I can't say that I listen to every one of his videos. Like there's some of these people that I'm sure there's some people that don't like my delivery on these videos. But I'm saying, like, not everybody likes everybody's delivery. So I get the Four Boxes Diner guy, and I like his stuff. He yells at me. I don't like being yelled at. So just not, I have to be ready to listen to one. So when he posts one, he says, "Can we finally defeat the NFA?" I listened to that one. How long was it? 34 minutes. I might not have listened to the whole thing, but I listened to a good chunk of that. There's Honda and his fake conspiracy theories. Do you think he'll ever have conspiracy theories about all the tech billionaires that have died in the last couple of months? Or not tech, but cyber currency billionaires that have died? Let's see. What else do we got? People posting videos. Gun for Hire was out here in Tucson. This is old Tucson, which used to be a movie. What do they call that? A filming location, a movie set. But it's not a movie set anymore. Now it's more like a tourist place. I mean, I guess they could technically film movies there. They'd look kind of cheesy, but it's like it's not quite an amusement park. There's no rides or anything, but you can come in here, and if you're not from out here and you don't want to drive all the way to Tombstone, which is like an hour or something away, you can just go to old Tucson, which is up and over the hill, and it's only maybe a half an hour from downtown Tucson. So, Gun for Hire was out here. They've been to Arizona before, so I didn't know if they knew people out here or what, but I mentioned to the guy, if he ever wants to just go out in the desert and shoot, let me know. So he said, "Oh, next time." So maybe me and that guy will go shooting sometime. I mean, he'll be buying the ammo for sure. He's super rich. But I'll take him out in the desert. I can take somebody from New Jersey to where they've probably never been shooting before, or at least have the freedom of shooting however they want. Let's see. Then we had the last episode of Locked and Loaded Latinos at their wherever they live place, and they're moving somewhere else. I can't keep track of all the towns and cities in Florida, but evidently panhandles have more than one city on them, and the panhandle of Florida has more than one city, and they lived in one, and they're moving to one of the other ones. So they made a big deal about it because they're young and they think this is the first time they bought a house or something. I can't remember if they bought a house. I think they said they bought a house. So good luck to them. Hope they have a good time with it. You know what it is. If you're, you know what I'm talking about. If you've got a house or two under your belt, can you imagine being in 2022 buying your first house in Florida? So hopefully, well, maybe it'll be their last house, but hopefully it's the beginning of a fun adventure of living places and doing their thing. They're young and moving into their first house out of an apartment, I think. Anyhow, and then doing their whole game thing and doing the Second Amendment thing. Really interesting podcast to check out. So I think I already brought that one up. I'm going to just bring it up again just in case. Oh, no, it is. It's right there. Uh-oh, now I dropped Every Second Matters. So that's the problem with doing these things as... Which Every Second Matters did I drop? Smaggies? Uh-oh, I don't know which one I dropped. So that's the danger of doing this live, is that I'm going to be dropping stuff that are valid. All right, so remember I talked about the radio shows. Well, there's a couple of different radio shows that I listen to each week, and one of them is another rate gun shop that does a radio show out of Austin. Come and Talk It. Well, they didn't do a radio show last week for whatever reason, probably because of Thanksgiving. Now, Polite Society Podcast hosts the Eye on the Target radio show, which is a radio show that broadcasts live on Sunday nights, along with Come and Talk It, and the third one that we'll talk about, or the fourth one I guess we'll talk about. Eye on the Target Radio is Amanda Suffolk and her brother, and she is the first nationally syndicated, well, I don't know if she's the first, she's the only nationally syndicated female radio host that focuses on firearms. I guess Dana Loesch or whatever had been already in the past, but she's gone, so that leaves Amanda as the only nationally syndicated female radio show host talking about guns on the regular basis. Her and her brother, Rob, do the show on Sunday afternoons. Well, it's afternoon for me. I don't know what time it is. It might be evening for the Metric Coast. And it's an interactive show to some extent. They do read the comments, and they have a producer who puts that stuff up on the screen. So there is some activity on the YouTube side, and there's always an adventure. For the last 2 weeks, their audio's been gone because Paul's on vacation or something. So they got their audio for a little bit, and then they dropped it, and then they pulled it back by being behind the scenes. And then once they figured out they were behind the scene, we were seeing behind the scenes, they shut it off completely. So I guess they left it up because it's still there. So if you want to go see what it looks like when the commercials aren't playing on Eye on the Target, this is the opportunity to see it because they left that up. Now, Gun Owners Radio was also live, and I don't know why I don't see it in my list. Probably because I was looking at it on my other machine, and that wouldn't show up in this history. But Gun Owners Radio is a radio show out of Southern California. They also go live on Sunday afternoons or evenings and broadcast or stream their broadcast, which is pretty fun. They will read the comments, but I don't think I shouldn't say that. This last week, for the first time ever, they interacted with the live comments when they were talking about the U.S. flag, and Michael had asked, does anybody out there agree with him that the U.S. flag code is a code, not a law, and that code is a show of respect. So by understanding the code and obeying the code or living with the code, you're showing respect. And it's an indication of a lack of respect to just ignore the code completely. And now the people don't like to hear that because they don't know what the code is. They don't want to hear about it. So anyway, Michael was asking for some feedback on that, and I was able to give him some feedback that he's not the only one that understands you don't need to wipe a flag all over everything. That doesn't make things patriotic just by getting a flag all dirty. And then we've got Gizzard doing his long format conversation. He's probably still live right now. It's called Quarking. When you have when some person who's minding their own business has a set schedule and is just minding their business and doing their show on their own time, just like they would normally do. That person's minding their business, just doing their thing. Now, if somebody else just decides, I'm going to do a show also right at the same time, although they're not scheduled for that time, they haven't already established that time slot, that's a Quarkin. That comes from a dude named Cork who lived in Wisconsin. And one time he just decided to go up and do that. And now that's named after him. So that happened. Let's see. We went live on Saturday and drew some 3D stuff, trying to apply some of the stuff I've been trying to learn from coaches and content developers out there on some of the new software I'm learning or trying to learn. Let's see. And then we had some other shows. Clover and Ghost have their sticker thing going. So they do a Clover and Ghost show now where they get together and talk even more, except live now. And they've got some stickers going with a $1,600 sweepstakes. So if you're interested in getting in on that or just helping them out to get to SHOT Show, $10. It's as easy as $10 to help them out and get in on that action. I guess I could put a link to that also. So what I'm doing is I'm right clicking and opening in a new window all these things that I want to include in the description of this video later on. Okay, so getting close to the end, we've got Great Start Shooting School. Brooke Cheney does a project called Suicide Prevention Saturday, which is a consistent effort to raise awareness of mental health and issues and awareness and having conversations about the 2 out of every 3 deaths from a firearm. So every time they use gun deaths against us, keep in mind they're using the full number, and that full number, the biggest number possible for numbers of people that die from a firearm, is because 2 out of every 3 people, it's suicide. Suicide is the number 1 leading cause of any kind of firearms death, way over murder, way over everything else. 2 out of every 3 of that deaths are suicide. And every single time they're going to use the biggest numbers possible when they talk about our property and our ownership of that property. to have better conversations, to have more effective conversations. Puppy, can you not lay your head right on all my charging wires? Is that possible? To have more effective conversations, Brooke offers this consistent project. They're brief, like 23 minutes this time, talking about the holidays and challenges and happiness, right? Valid subjects to talk about when you're talking about an awareness of mental health going into the holidays. So they're brief and they're consistent. She has an archive you can go back through. This is a live project, so it's a great project. It's one of the most Second Amendment things that anyone is doing on the planet right now, and it's very indicative of the kind of work that's being done in the community right now, consistently for the last few years. So lots of good stuff happening out there, and Brooke is definitely an indication of all that. Let's see. Looks like Mike Sedini was on with Riding Shotgun with Charlie, doing their Armed Lifestyle magazine project, which are interviews with Charlie, and they're not Riding Shotgun with Charlie, but they also seem to be old. So I don't know. I didn't listen to this one, but the last one I listened to was like 3 months old, and I only knew it because they were talking current events that were 3 months ago. So anyway, so that's just another project that Charlie's doing. Looks like that one went live. All right, so there's at least 3 up to 5 military interview podcasts that I listen to, and I'm going to recommend when they're awesome. I recommend them every week, but the problem is they're freaking awesome every week. They're really, really good. So this week on Combat Story, the Combat Story is an Apache helicopter pilot, and then he went into the CIA, and then after the CIA, and now that he's retired from both of those roles, he's a podcast host, and his podcast is called Combat Story. And this dude he interviewed this week on Saturday morning. Are you okay, puppy? Okay, puppy just came over. You're going to hear some of this now because he just came over to sleep. He didn't even think twice. He got up, he took about 2 steps, and he was back asleep. But it took him like 2 steps to clear the whole desk right here. Okay, so he's definitely asleep. So this last Saturday, Combat Story interviewed Steve, who is a pilot in the 160th. So, and he was all right, puppy's moving again. He's been in the 160th for a long time. And for people that don't know, every time you hear about somebody interesting that did something amazing, the 160th are the helicopters that got him there. So that's the Air Force's equivalent. Well, it is the Air Force's special operations. So ever since back in the day when Vietnam and people were doing amazing stuff with vehicles then, that kind of kept going. And this interview for 2 hours talks about that whole thing and the stuff that's been going on in again, aspects or facets of what's going on in the military and how it evolves that give you a really good idea of, or really good awareness of where fighting is going and how it's evolved and what took place. All right, we had, was that this week? Yeah, I guess so. So we had a massive Ask Gun Questions. Oh, that's what happened. G23 didn't do a show for whatever reason, right? You weren't doing a show because of the gun laws or something. And so we did a long show. So we did a very long show. I don't know if it was good or not, but it was a 4-something hour show. So that happened. And then let's see. Then we get back to this week, or the last show, I suppose. I might be missing a couple of things. I do watch things on other computers, but that's the YouTube stuff. There's a couple of other things we'll be taking a look at, including the Instagrams. So it's Every Second Matters, and a couple of people have posted Every Second Matters stuff. How far are we in? We're about 45 minutes in, so I'm just going to whip through. This isn't really going to be a full, let's take a look at everything on Instagram, but this Instagram does become a good summary of some of this stuff. Come on, puppy. What are you doing? He's either laying on me or he's laying on my power cord. So can you just lay somewhere in between? The Gun Owners America is suing Oregon. And we've also got a lawsuit happening in Washington State. This isn't going to work as good. I probably should have staged some of the Instagram stuff. There's just too many other things happening on Instagram to catch just the good stuff. I guess I could try going through my saved stuff as a quick summary. Coming back over here again. That's fine. Sit down then. So we're back to the Every Second Matters, the new Every Second Matters ones. Goal Gun Owners Action League is a Massachusetts state level organization. They did a great one here. Guns should be regulated like cars. There are 5 times more licensed drivers than gun owners, and there's 374 accidental deaths to 1 accidental gun death in Massachusetts. If I haven't mentioned the big auction over at Pot of Gold, we've got a bunch of bayonets over in that auction, some other stuff, and they've got a ton of interesting stuff, including a whole bunch of 25 ACPs. Really would have I would have enjoyed being able to get in and do some reviews and get some videos of that stuff. Another one from Goal. Massachusetts gun-related homicides have increased 111% since the Gun Control Act that they enacted to prevent homicides. Yeah, I think I should have. I had a couple other things I wanted to bring up, and one of them, did I leave it open? One of them was like in a newsletter somewhere, and another one, I think they were from my email. They were in newsletters. So what we're going to do is end this one somewhere around here. There's a couple other things we'll do, though, because they're a tradition for our Saturday show. So why don't we first head over to, I'll go over here and grab since it's the first, whoa, what happened? Is Clover using my intro? Oh, I guess that's the intro from StreamYard, so it's not technically my intro. I'm going to head over to the inside of YouTube over here because, oops, I guess I'm trying to go inside of YouTube and not to a different one. We do a thank you to our super chats, and since it's basically the beginning of the month, that's I don't think we've gotten any super chats yet. So I'm going to check out the super chats from last month, and we'll do a quick random giveaway for those folks. There it is. Supers. See more. Oh, no, that's not the right button. Supers here, and then see all. How about that? So I guess we did get one super. Ron Wayne threw $10 at us, actually, from the van chat yesterday. So thanks for that. So we'll definitely include that. So including the one from yesterday, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, 13 of them. So we're going to go over to, so this will be for, we'll make it for Daily Gun Show patch. And if somebody gets that and already has a Daily Gun Show patch, then let us know. We can swap it out for something. But I'm going to go to random.org. And did I just say 13? We're going to go to 13. Uh-oh. What I picked? I don't like this one. I don't trust this one. I don't know what it is. I'm going to go to Random.org. That's what I know it is. All right, and we'll go to 13. And so Ron's super chat from yesterday will be number 1, and going all the way back to the first one would have been G23's from November 4th. Thank you for that. Boom, number 1. So keeping it appropriate to the super chat from December. Thank you very much for that. I don't know if you've already got, and you're right there. So I don't know if you've already got a Daily Gun Show patch or not, but if you do, then let me know which one you'd be more interested in, and we'll get that out to you. So I appreciate for sending us a super chat. Super chat is the way people throw a couple of bucks right through, well, in this case, $10 right through the YouTube system at the projects. So again, we don't buy guns. I'm not buying ammo. I'm not going to the range. Did all that when I was young. What we do is pay the bills, which is mostly server bills and like food, and rent and stuff, and then focus on Second Amendment as much as possible. So very much appreciated. Like I say, it doesn't quite. Okay, so you don't have one yet? Well, you do now. And of course, we'll probably throw a couple extras in there. No free patch Friday stuff this week. We didn't really do too well, so do appreciate the super chats when they do come in. Don't require them, but certainly appreciate them. We're going to continue to do what we can do as much as we can do it, as long as we're able to do it. Thanks again to our Patreons to make it possible for us to spend this time doing this stuff. Let's go back and take a look at everybody who's been out here tonight. I'm going to just go backwards for the easiness of it. So again, Ron Wayne, thanks for the super chat, and congrats on the win, on the completely random win. Fate was meant to happen. So G23 is saying, if you guys are not subbed to or watching the Washington gun laws, then you should. It's a pretty good channel. I'm still, I don't know, a little bit, I don't know. I've seen a lot of channels come and go. That's all I'm saying. I've seen a lot of channels come and go. I do like the channel, and I would recommend them as well. But I'm having to put that caveat on there. It's lawyers. What am I supposed to do? I've got to put that caveat on there. They're too new. G23 Misty is out there. Good evening. Thanks everybody for staying up, by the way. I know we started a little bit late. You might not realize this if you're listening to this as a podcast or just as a video in the future. Let's see. And then Jacobs saying, hey, welcome. Good evening. Woods was out there. He may or may not still be up. Probably not. Oh, no, he just woke up, so maybe he is. And then G23 and Roy. That's everybody. So, yeah, I appreciate the people that join us live. If you're out there and you're not getting said hey to, it's probably because you didn't say nothing. How am I supposed to know you're out there? I don't have those kind of mental abilities. All right, well, with that, again, thanks to the folks that participate in our projects. We'll continue to offer what we can, as much as we can. Tomorrow we've got Ask Gun Questions coming up with Tony Simon and this dude, Clover. And we'll be doing some 3D drawings is tomorrow as well, if everything goes according to plan. All right. Roy's out there as well. Thanks again. Being the first and the last. Well played. Well played. I may, depending on what folks are interested in, there are a bunch of people in here. We figured out how to play Scrabble, essentially, over on this channel. So on the Daily Gun Show channel is where I'm playing it. If you want to play some Scrabble live in about 10 minutes, give me a heads up, and we'll be doing that because it's free. And anybody can play. All you got to do is be able to type. DJ was playing it, and he uses a phone. So we got 8 votes. So far, 25% of people said it's a great week for 2A. 50% of people saying it's a good week for 2A. 25% of people said it's an okay week for 2A. We're going to leave the poll where it is. Here's the deal. I have a link in the description, or in the description of the video here right now, that says, is it a good day to call your senator? We got a lot of people that need your attention every week. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to create reasons for you to pay attention to them, if not every day at this point, right? They get paid when you're paying attention to them. That creates the sky is falling, I think, Chicken Little. So I really think there's something. Did I get any new patches in the mail? No, I haven't gotten anything. I just checked mail the other day. But there are some things. I know that you were you sending some? I appreciate that. I know there's some stuff in the mail. I've actually got quite a bit of things going back and forth that I'm a little surprised I didn't get an email last time I checked. But that could be Thanksgiving. I don't know. Is this Christmas time maybe? Everybody's getting busy because of Thanksgiving cookies or something getting shipped out, or Christmas cookies getting shipped out. But as far as, this week, I think we've got a lot of people that are interested in keeping us paying attention to their daily conversation, and we don't have a lot of strategy, and we don't have players in the game that have been here long enough to realize that there are no easy days. The days that seem easy, we should have been training really hard, or we should have just been in a battle. If people are truly think that this is the end of the Roman Empire and blah, 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 and the men are only strong back in the day and everybody's weak now, then why aren't we fighting this stuff, all the strong people who have all these all this opinions? So I think we've got, the good week, great week, okay week. And I'll give it an okay. Nothing came at us, but if we judge it by how much the others are attacking us, that's not a great measure. So I want to just leave it on, value your voice, get out there. Here's the thing. You don't need to be a content creator. Content creators do exactly what they're told. Exactly, and only what they're told. Content creators, influencers, are desperate for your approval as an audience. So your voice as an audience has ultimate impact on what people are focused on and what people are paying attention to. So if we as an audience accept whatever dance they're doing, they're going to just keep dancing harder. If we don't clap at the end of their dance, they're going to really quick start asking what we'd rather see. And if we'd rather see them have conversations that are real, or we'd rather see them do educational, or we'd rather see them change people's minds, we'd rather see them focus on the important stuff, they're going to do that quickly. How strong would we be with a community that's doing that, especially going into SHOT Show? Value your voice, be part of the internet. And if you want to play some word games in a bit, nobody said yes, so maybe we won't. But if anybody says yes after we end this thing, then maybe we'll go play some word games on the Daily Gun Show channel after this one live. All right, thanks again, everybody, for showing up live. Value your voice, do stuff, get out there, empower each other, and let's kick some butt. We'll be back here next week.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
Tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice once a month, and carry every day.
Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.